What's up, folks? I've been meaning to go through these cards for a little bit here since we first saw our leaks, unfortunate leaks or no. Since we first saw some images come out from the Battle of Endor pack and some of the quick builds that are coming out from that. Right off the bat, this is a card that just speaks to me. This is probably my favorite design ship I've ever seen come out of Atomic Mass Games, AMG, and I'm really excited about it. No secret at all. One of the things that I'm really hoping is in the works is a War of the Bounty Hunters, or like a bounty hunter specific card pack for Scum, of quick builds that help us kind of breathe some new life into some of the bigger bounty hunters that are sort of struggling a bit. So looking at the design of this ship really has me optimistic. And I know that the Battle of Endor pack is going to be legal for Adepticon. So I'm looking at this ship, giving a hard look at it, and I may actually fly it. Elephant in the room here, this is a Falcon. It's a YT 1300. It's in the Rebels faction. For this ship to see any play at all, it has to have a decent comparison to Han Solo, the Piston Han with Perceptive Co-Pilot that throws 2 attacks, double modded every turn. So it can, and this any ship that does this, any YT 1300 pilot can do this if they are lower costed, if they have similar damage output, if they have more utility, any combination of those, and that's something that I'm sure was on the mind of the designers when they put this together. So let's actually take a look at it. I am actually going to start on the right all the way at the bottom because I want to save the best for last. So just looking through this real quick. So it is a Falcon. It's got that 3-die attack bow tie, 1 evade die, 8 hull, 5 shields, and 2 charges that we'll talk about in a second. It is Lando. He is the Battle over Endor version. He's Initiative 5, which is still good, but not the Initiative 6 that Han is, but still. So bottom right, we've got Millennium Falcon, the specific title for this pilot card. It's while attacking or defending, if you have a non-lock red or orange token, you may reroll 1 die. So stress, strain, jam, tractor, any of these things. Ion, there we go. I really like that. This is a really interesting ship, right? So it's got a bunch of downsides, but a way that to then mitigate and benefit from those downsides feels very much like a gambler like Lando, and he does feel a little bit more scummy than others, which I feel is very appropriate because Lando is, not your traditional freighter pilot. So there's the title. I really like that. That's going to come up multiple times as we go through this. Next up, we have the gunner slot, Aaron Kraken. After defending, if the attack hit, you may gain one deplete token to perform a bonus primary attack targeting the attacker. So just to walk through that, the attack has to hit. You have to gain the deplete, so you're only throwing back 2 to 3 dice if it's at range 1. And it is a bonus attack. So that is where this has a direct comparison to the Piston Han. So you do get a bonus attack built into this ship, which is cool and very unusual for standardized loadout. And it's one of the ways that the disc does compete directly with Han. But I appreciate that it's kind of balanced because it's only throwing 2 dice. So 1 less die than you usually get. Now you can still mod those dice, and you can mod individual dice. So if you have an eyeball result, or if you have a result you can re-roll, you can do that with that bonus attack, which is great. When I first saw that, I actually read it as the deplete applied after the bonus attack, like Boudica Avenge. So your actual primary attack would be depleted, but it is the bonus attack that is depleted. So that's something I wanted to be clear about, just to make sure that if you misread it like I did. Next up in the crew slot, we've got Nien Num. Decrease the difficulty of your bank maneuvers, the left and the right. So that is really nice. That'll give you a lot more maneuverability options on the ship and should give you a couple additional blues if I'm remembering the dial correctly. Next up, we have It's a Trap, which is an ability we see a lot in the Battle of Endor cards. While defending, if there are other friendly ships, more other friendly ships than enemy ships at range 0 to 1, you may reroll 1 of your blank results. So that'd be that tightening up in formation after they found out that they were getting ambushed by the Empire. You can picture Admiral Akbar in your head every time I see that ability. So I like that one a lot. Nice defensive buff, especially in early engagement or at long range. That could really pay off just to make the thing a little bit more durable. Then we have Ace in the Hole with 2 charges up there. At the start of the engagement phase, you may spend 1 to gain 1 jam token to perform a barrel roll action. A large base with a barrel roll is just the best thing ever, and that will actually give Lando the option to boost and barrel roll in the same turn, potentially, which is awesome. On a thing like a double reposition, large base Falcon, I love it. And then you gain the jam, which then goes back to that Millennium Falcon title. So you can, if you do an objective action, say you do any other kind of action other than a lock or a focus so you wouldn't jam off your own token. Then you have a jam token, which will then trigger that Millennium Falcon title. So that's very cool. So there are a fair number of actions this guy could take that wouldn't result in having a jammable thing. So I like it. I like it a lot. Only 2 charges, so you can only do that twice per game, but still, being able to just freely barrel roll the Falcon twice per game is awesome. You can line up that shot, you can get out of opposing shots. That's really, really good. And it's the start of the engagement phase, so you would do it before any Initiative 6's shoot. So you could really put yourself in a safer spot if you make sure you're open to do that. And as I read that, that would be a white barrel roll as well, which is just nuts. Yeah, love it. So a maneuverable large base ship is just sings to me. Then we're going to go back up here. So we're back to the left side. I'll cover the action bar in a second. So we're doing high stakes is the subtitle ability. After you perform a red action, you may roll an attack die. On a hit or a crit result, remove 1 stress. We'll get back to that. And then the final part of this ability is his actual pilot ability. At the start of the activation phase, you may spend 1 charge. It's got 2 charges, non-recurring. If you do, choose an initiative value from 1 to 6. You activate at that initiative this phase, which is so good. To jump down to the action bar real quick, he's got the standard Falcon focus, lock, evade, red boost, and then rotate, but then he also has the additional action, red coordinate linked to red focus. And when you first look at that, you're like, wait a minute, you can't do that. But then when you read high stakes, I love this. So just picture this turn, right? So Lando goes in, you choose to activate him at initiative 1, right? So that he can move before your other ships. He moves first, maybe gets into a really good position, coordinates one of your friendlies before it moves, and then you roll your high stakes die, you get a hit, removes the stress from coordinate, so you go ahead and link that to a focus. It's not as good of a turn. So you link it to a focus, right? And then you can roll a die and say you remove the stress again. So now you've done a coordinate link to focus with no stress. Then the turn happens, you're sitting there, and then you realize you're in a really, really bad position. You do your ace in the hole, you barrel roll to get out of a dangerous spot, you give up your focus, but still you had the option to do that, which is so cool. So anyway, yeah, I am really excited about this ship and actually strongly considering testing it out before Battle of Endor. Before Adepticon. I will almost certainly fly it a little bit, and we'll see if it's as good or as much fun as I think it is. And then it is possible I would actually take this guy to the Adepticon tables. We'll see. To at least the last chance qualifier, maybe beyond. Yeah, I love the level of options this has, and it really encourages you to be maneuverable, to really kind of do stuff in the game aside from just move and shoot, which I really enjoy. So we'll see how it does. We'll see how the points fall, but this is by far my favorite design ship I've seen so far, and this is exactly what I want out of standardized loadout cards, to see something this weird that really does add quite a bit to the game, I think. We'll see. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I will take a look at the other ships in no particular order. If you have any you want to see sooner than others, sitting out. Maybe I'll hit that one first. Appreciate it. See you out there.